Hey everybody, looks like we are live. How you doing? Happy Wednesday. We made it to yet another week. I am so glad you guys and girls are here to hang out, talk about art, go over technique together, maybe have a couple of jokes. That would be fantastic. I even wore cologne. No one can smell it, but it smells really good. So let's see who we have today. We have Patty all the way from Illinois. Great to see you, Patty. We have Honey all the way from Rockville Center, New York. Great to see you. Steve Leahy all the way from Ohio, hailing out of Massachusetts. And let's see. And who else we got? Mr. Brad Montgomery from Manitoba, snowed in today. From all the snow out there in Canada. Great to see you, Brad. So we have a nice small group so far. Small but powerful. Formidable, I should say. So picking up exactly where we left off with the expressive portrait, right? I'm titling her Whatever, right? Because she looks like she's kind of like whatever, you know? So let's see, and okay, so everything looks good. I just have to do the focus thing. There we go. And let's see. Mr. Dwayne, how are you, my friend? All the way from South Central California, San Luis Obispo. And you guys are not the slugs. You guys are... What are you guys at San Luis Obispo? I'm gonna get that and memorize that as well, Dwayne. Yeah, I think one of the places they're called some sort of slugs, but you guys have a cool name. So let's see here. All right, so let me get the picture for you all to see. Let's see, image and pictures. Now, where is the picture of this young lady? Here she is. There we go, so you can see. Mr. Patrick, how are you, my friend? Great to see you. How's it going? All the way from Massachusetts, originally from Wisconsin, and then we have Air Todd from San Diego. Great to see you. Yes, the Mustangs. That's a pretty cool name, gotta say, right? It's a lot better than being some sort of garden slug. Oh, that's funny. Funny, but not so funny. Not for the garden slugs, you know. Let's see. So, game plan. Let's see. What kind of game plan are we going to be doing here today? So, how's everyone doing? How's your artwork been this week? Any new breakthroughs with paintings or anything? Please let me know here in the comment section. So that would be really good. Be right back. I'm going to get a soda. Great. Oh, look at that. Patrick says she loves how this lady looks. She needs some more smack. She needs some more smack at this stage. Little more definition with the lips, right, my friend? I think I know what you mean. And hey, Travis, how you doing? How's it going? You got the new Airbrush and haven't tried it yet. You're gonna love it. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm here for you. Okay. And Travis, thanks again for purchasing that Extreme Patriot 105. So I'm really excited to see how you like it. And Dwayne says, if you ever been to Santa Cruz, then the banana slug mascot wouldn't surprise you a bit. That's too funny. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, we were working on the hair, and I know the hair might be boring, but it's important, so we're going to go ahead and just develop her hair a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put this right here, this border shield that I made right here. Oh, since we're all here, I got to show you something that's really cool. This is excellent. So I was the proud recipient of the contest that Mr. Steve Leahy does every Monday of a 543. And you have to see this. It came in the mail the other day, and his work in person just eclipsed what you see online. Take a look at this. This is Steve Leahy's piece, and it is just incredible the way that he went ahead and clear coated it. It's just incredible. Look at that, the way that it shines. And what I really love about this is that the attention to the anatomy is really fantastic. Right here, we can see the mental protuberance and the mental fat pad, and then right along here, which is the orbicularis oris, which always cuts in on that mental fat pad right here, and it's just amazing. Right here you can see the nasolabial fold, which is incredible. Just some really just fantastic things going on with this painting. It's really beautiful. And one of the things I want to show you that really kind of freaked me out about this piece, the proof's always in the pudding, right? And you'll see, look what he did with the fabric. That will blow your mind. And this is literally 5 by 4, right? Is it? Yeah, I think it's 5 by 4. Look at this. Look how he did the weave of the fabric, and then you can see the slight kind of turquoise in the eyes. It's just really top rate, and I wanted to share that with you because there's nothing like having one of his artworks. And this one's called Chani, and really amazing. So 3 by 4 inches, incredible. So that's that. So just wanted to share that with you guys. And so thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that, sir. It was really fantastic, anatomy, everything. So 3 cheers for Steve. It really is amazing to see his work in person, like going to a museum. You know, it's you know, when you look at the old master's work and you see it, you know, in books and everything, but when you go to a museum and you look at a Vermeer, it's like, and that's what I got from that piece. That same feeling, like, wow, you look at his work online, yet it really does not do any justice whatsoever. All right, back to the business of business. Back to monkey business. That's what I'm doing. All right, so let's see. So now we're going to work on her hair, and I have a hair only stencil. It might not be a hair only stencil, but just what's around her hair, and that might be what's going on. Definitely, I agree, Dwayne, definitely. Yeah, definitely, Patrick, just a little bit of color, just fantastic. And Honey says, do I have any restrictions on my feed? Not that I know of. Are you having any trouble giving a comment or anything, Honey? The only restrictions that we have on anything like YouTube live streams, that if I am being, if anything's like a paid advertisement or something, I have to disclose it. But but that was just strictly love of the art, you know, no paid advertisement there. Michael Lake cannot comment. Interesting. So, Michael, what happens is you got to make sure that you're signed into your Google and Facebook account, and then you'll be able to do that. So, let's say if you just go ahead and log in to Facebook, either through the app or online. What will happen if you're not logged in? You won't be able to comment. So, especially if you're watching on TV, like if you're watching the app on TV. So go ahead and log into your Google account, and then you should be able to get in there, Mike. Let's see. And I love to hear from you, Mike, definitely. Let's come over here. Let's come over here like this. Basically, just protecting all the negative shapes. You know, all the areas in the background. Because if I spray and I get overspray, it's just gonna really kind of muddy things up. You know, it's not going to be the end of the world, but it just won't look great. You know, and that's what we want to do. We want to take it to the next level. More ginger ale. Now, I do have, let's see what we got in here. Make sure the airbrush is working and it's behaving, not like it did 2 weeks ago. It was definitely kicking my butt, but now I'm prepared, so that's good. Okay, so we're going to go back to her hair, and we're just going to continue to sculpt. If you don't have Pure Ref, I'm opening that up. You guys can't see it, but it's super important. Let's see. And here we go. We are off, and you want to have your, if you're doing a freehand shield or stencils, make sure that you mask your magnets right on the edge. You know why? Because like a sail, it's going to want to billow underneath. So you have to make sure that you go right on that edge, and that takes away the billowing capabilities. And so that's important. Always take away the ability of your painting to mess you up. I'm going to raise the air pressure just a tad because we're working on larger areas. Working on larger areas, you can raise the air pressure. Because when you're working on a larger area, you can have more distance, and with more distance, you can raise the air pressure. However, if you are doing detail and you're getting in there, then you have to lower that air pressure. So just remember that. You know, all these little formulas, and that's all they are. You know, so, you know, it comes down to like airbrush control. That's a learned skill. But, you know, stuff like anatomy and color and you know, value and stuff, design, that stuff you learn as artists, but you want to learn the airbrush stuff, right? That's what you want to do. You want to learn the airbrush. So is anyone out there? I know you're out there. I hear you breathing. And let's see, just continue. So I'm working on these large, massive areas, and then I can come in and erase, right? I have the detail mixture in pretty much straight. There he is, Mr. Tone, all the way from Florida, actually originally from New York. And we have Patty. How you doing? Thank you so much. And so that's cool. So, I can't say New York without people realizing I'm from New York, New Jersey. So I try to even say New York correctly. New York, I really can't. It's like when I try to say the province that Brad's from, and it's Manitoba, and the way I say Manitoba, it gives away like where I'm from. But if I go like Manitoba, that doesn't sound right. So it's like some words you can get away with, but some words really just brings out, my New York accent. I don't have a Brooklyn accent though, not that I think. And I'm just darkening the darks and softening the edges, right? That's all I'm doing. So how many out there have won one of Steve Leahy's 540 trees? And it's actually, the odds are really good if you go to his live streams every Monday to get one of those amazing paintings. So definitely. And one of the things that he does is really great is that you can actually say, like to suggest a 543 that he may do. And he'll go ahead and do it. And if he does, then you could pick up like a commission from like, a seasoned professional painter for very, very inexpensively, which is fantastic if you don't win it. So a lot of people have done that. They suggested, and they went ahead and purchased what they suggested because that would have been something that they were thinking of commissioning an artist anyway. So Mondays at 6 on Facebook, Steve Leahy Artist. So definitely check that out. You won't be sorry. And I learned so much from his live stream. It's unbelievable. I think I started watching Steve Leahy's live stream 2 years ago, and it really has meant for a lot of the advances in my technique is due to watching that live stream on Fridays. And Brad says he won a couple of them. Yes, very cool. Very cool. Clutch, Patrick won one. That is amazing. Patty said she did last year have it framed. You're 100% right. Online doesn't do justice. So true. So very true. So many amazing airbrush artists out there. It's really humbling. Really is humbling. Okay, I'm going to move this over. I want to get this good. I want to darken this, and before I do that though, I need to calm this down. This is just, it's a little crazy. I'm just going to calm down. That's all I'm going to do, just calm it down. As they say in Spanish, cálmate ya, tranquila. And that's what I gotta do to a lot of these lights I put in. I was a little over enthusiastic about the lights, so I really have to calm that down as I'm doing that. Oh yeah, no, it's a lot of fun, the live stream, definitely. Steve Leahy's live stream is a lot of fun. And he's very, very giving on it. So, really cool. So, let's see. I think I'm going to put the face only stencil in the hands because I don't want to get overspray on her beautiful face. So people may say, like, so Tim, how come your women often look pissed off? Because I've seen those looks in real life. I get those expressions. Let's see. I try not to, but often I still get those expressions. It's a woman's prerogative. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. So true. I love the Pre-Raphaelite tradition of the femme fatale. That's you know, really amazing. You know, that mysterious brooding quality. So if any of you seen the work of Dante Gabriel Rossetti, I fell in love with his work very long time ago. So I won't date myself, but it's been quite a while that I've been loving, not so much technique, you know, but just subject matter and the emotion that they're able to impart, you know, infuse with their with his paintings. Dante Gabriel Rossetti is also a poet. I'm a poet. I don't really talk about it that much, but I am a poet, so I really felt a kinship to Rossetti. A lot of times he would write poetry and the painting would be about the poem and vice versa, which was really fantastic. Take care, Mr. Patrick. I'll see you later, and also after the live stream we're going to talk, so don't forget about that. So that's good. Let's see here. All right, so we're going to continue, but what about our hand, you might say? And you might say, well, we didn't say that, Tim, you said it, right? So I'm going to have to be careful with the hand because I don't have a hand stencil. But the hands are a little dark anyway, so let's just stay away from them best we can. That's all. And you see, airbrush is a lot of preparation. It's a lot of, sometimes the preparation is longer than the spraying, and that's just the truth, you know. And those who are into automotive, which is really great, you know, you all can definitely tell me how much preparation and how much spraying, you know. Sometimes it seems like you just do preparation, so. Let's see. Move this up. And we're just going to work on her hair. And again, you know, you have to calm things down. You can always darken them. I mean, always come back and erase, but, you know, and it's good to layer too. So it'll be a good layering kind of thing here. And it kind of softens it up and makes her hair more realistic. And hair is a cumulative act in a painting, I feel. It's something that you're building upon. You're going from the helmet, actually, yeah, from the helmet to like the wax wig, you know, like the Dracula costumes. And then you go into, you know, the gelled hair and then individual hairs. So basically that's the route you go. You know, you just slowly build from the from the large shapes to the specific shapes. Individual hairs come last. And I'm protecting her face, which is important because we have some really nice lights that we worked on, and we don't want to just kill that. That would really stink. Here we go. And I can tell I am out of detail mixture. So I am going to come... Hey, here's a blast for the past when I first started my ink mixtures back when I was a kid. So right here you can see how the labels used to be. And then it was also a time period where they were handwritten. And so that was pretty wild. So we're going to put some straight dark mixture in here. Dun dun dun. Straight dark mixture. Not dark mixture. Detail mixture. And then we're going to continue just sculpting that hair. Mr. Roy, how are you today all the way from New Jersey? How you doing, sir? Fellow Jersey guy. Now when I go work on this edge here, I'm going to actually fix it because it's not quite where I want it to be. Again, just calm this down. Calm that down, we'll come back to it. We just have to shape it. Sometimes you get overzealous. Sometimes I get overzealous, more like it. Freehand shield. Get those magnets out of the way. Cover what you don't want to spray. Sounds silly, but the one time where you cover where you want to spray and spray where you don't want to spray, you'll be like, yep, that's an important thing to keep in mind. Happens to all of us. There we go. Just work on our hair. And it looks like I've been blurry this whole time. Alright, so I want to work on the outside of the hair. So what I'm going to do is just rearrange all these so it fits perfectamente. Let's see. Well, first I'm going to have it perfect on the top. Right? So let's just work on the top first, one at a time. Makes it a lot easier because sometimes they don't really match perfectly. Mr. Braden, how are you, sir? Great to see you. Andre, como vai você, Andre? It's great to see you. So glad you're here, sir. And Mr. Andre is all the way from Brazil. Viva Brazil! So glad to see you, sir. And I'm just going to... So Braden, all the way from Canada, from Edmonton. How are you today, sir? Great to see you. Always good to see Braden. And how's the house shaping up, sir? Now, Braden just moved into a new home, and he's been fixing it up. So that's always exciting, and congratulations on that, sir. That is quite an accomplishment, and I really think that's one of the big successes in life. Having your own home and, purchasing it. I mean, someone who's never owned an own home, that's a big deal to me. That's a very big deal. And such a feather in your cap, sir. Put that there. See how now this is really tight? So that's what we want to do. And we'll do this side first. And this way we can feel good about going right on that edge, Hey, Michael, there you are. Great to see you. I am so glad you're able to go ahead and comment. So Mike, where are you from? And we'll take this here and put that. And Mike, thank you so much. I believe this is your first time here. So great to see you, my friend. See how I covered her hair a little bit accidentally with that magnet? It's a good thing I caught that. Otherwise, it would have been a nice circle on her hair. And just like Desi Arnaz, Lucy, you have some explaining to do. And if I had a circle there, I would have had some explaining to do if I had a circle there. Oh, remember I worked so hard to get that edge? Now we're reaping all the benefits. So I'm going to come right off of that edge over there, and I'm spraying away from the shield. Why am I spraying away from the shield? Because if I'm spraying away from the shield, there's going to be no chance of underspray, and that's important. Also, the paper I'm using is the Colorline paper by Canson, 184 pound. The color is pebble gray, but it's nice and smooth. If it was a watercolor paper, this wouldn't help. You still get bleeds in there, but the fact that it's nice and smooth, it works out perfectly. Hey there, Mr. Mike, how are you today with the super chat? Thank you. So glad that you were here all the way from California. It's great to see you. And I believe you are in South Central. Is that called South Central California, Mike? Thank you so much for that. That is so amazing. So we have Michael Lake and then Mintaholic, and Mintaholic is Mike Dominguez. So I am so glad you're here. So Mike, how is Angela doing? And which is really cool. A lot of you guys are in doing automotive, and Mintaholic is an amazing auto body guy. So I've seen him work on a Ferrari. It's just incredible, you know. Takes a beat up looking, I don't know, it looks like a big piece of metal and turns it into this shiny red Ferrari, which is just amazing. Central Cali, so cool. Oh, so glad Angela's doing well. So that's fantastic. All right. So the chat room, the live stream is picking up. So glad you are all here today. I always say the people who are meant to be here are here. So that is incredible. And so very cool group. And Patty says she needs to get some shut-eye. Have a great night, Patty. Always a pleasure. Thanks for hanging out with me and everyone here on this Saturday. On this Wednesday night. So this is part 4. And, you know, part 4 is when a lot of the heavy lifting is happening. And what's going to happen is once we get through part 4, things are really going to pick up, you know. You'll start to see the painting really come together. But it's really all the hard work from parts 1 to 4 that makes part 5, 6, and 7 really be effective in just getting the detail and everything. So we are just with this detail mixture now. And it's important to see just how, you know, how effective the detail mixture is in creating volume. You don't have to go in with dark, only at the very end for dark accents. Remember, if you're working in this way, you're working with transparents. And working in transparents is definitely different than working in opaques. So not better, not worse, just different. There's advantages to both. I like the advantages of working in transparents, although when I oil paint, I'm strictly an opaque painter, you know, which I get thick paints and just put it on there. and paint like I mean it and mean it, you know? And that's important. Yeah, we got a lot of Cali in the house. Ah, thanks. So Mint says that Mint says he likes the new piece. It has some attitude. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. I really wanted to do a painting, Mint, that was, you know, not just the average painting, but one that kind of grabs the attention, and I like that. So, you know, I tend to do in the last year, no, I would say last couple of years, trying to get expressions that are not common, that are kind of force the viewer to, you know, notice the portrait, and so I enjoy that, because we only have like maybe 2 seconds to get the attention. Either we grab the viewer or we don't, right? So that's a good way to get that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually come in with the medium mixture and hit some of these really super darks, right? It's a little different. And Mike, thank you so much for the $2 super chat sticker. It means a lot. It helps the channel, and it's encouraging to me. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your support. You are amazing. Don't ever forget that. So now we are going to get the medium mixture. Now the thing about medium mixture, it's not here. Let's see. If you were medium mixture, where would you be? Let's see. We got medium sepia. Oh, we got some medium mixture in the house. What's this here? Oh, Mint says he just noticed some Celtic designs back there. Oh, great. Thank you. So Mike says just a little dark here and there is pretty cool. Thanks for noticing that, Mike. Yeah, I did the Celtic, and we're going to make those Celtic knots darker, which will be cool. And so now we have this medium mixture. I'm going to expel the detail mixture. Now when you're going from a light mixture to a dark mixture, and I'm also going to dilute this just a tad, because I don't know if I want to go so dark right now. So let me put this back on, and very cool. Now, where's my water? Here we go. My water bottle's so dirty it's starting to look like an ink bottle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm basically doing like 6 drops of the medium mixture and about 4 drops of water. So diluting it, not so much 1-to-1, but pretty close nonetheless. But since we're going up, this would be like going up 2 whole stops if you're a photographer people out there. So this is like going up 2 stops. Anyone out there do portrait photography? Love to hear. That's one of my passions lately, is portrait photography. So now I'm with that medium mixture, and I'm going to hit some of those darks, really do some popping. So here's something to date you all. You remember the pop and lock dancing? That was all the rage in the 90s. They even had a pop and lock dancing DVD, and I think it had like Donnie Wahlberg in it or something like that, and that's some funny stuff. That will definitely that's cringeworthy stuff. Cringeworthy, that's new kid talk. Dave the Bug Gregory, how are you? It's great to see you, my friend. How's everything out there in Oklahoma? I'm so glad you are here. So that is cool. So Oklahoma's in the house. You're the only Oklahoma guy today. And we're so glad you're here, Dave. And how are the kids doing? I'm sure they're all having fun and getting ready for summer vacation, which is only like what, a month away? So Mint, I remember you were always happy when summer vacation came by, right? You were a happy kid when that used to happen when you were a kid. I was the same way. Summer vacation was my best subject. And it doesn't look like we're doing anything, but we really are. Uh, in a knife fight, but making it. Oh man! So Dave, keep the faith and just know that uh, you know it's gonna work. Always works out. As long as we just keep our head down and work like crazy, right? So uh, always rooting for you, Mr. Dave. You're a good guy. And Mint says, of course, school wasn't much fun. Yeah, a lot of times it isn't, right? But Mike, you did great, and say that's exactly it, right, Mint? You stick through it, and you get to the other side of it, and you look back and say, "Wow, I did that," and you say that's a real accomplishment. So I admire that, Mint, definitely. I admire you and the fact that, you have what it takes. And that's the truth, Mint. And so Rick says, Rick Lotta, how you doing? Rick from Montreal, Canada. Viva Montreal. Go Canadians. The Montreal Canadians. So how are you, Rick? How's everything out there on the north of the border? So now we're going to work down towards the bottom so we don't have to worry about the top, right? And we're talking about the border. So we are going to... So we really got to work... Oh, okay. So we're going to move this away. So it's like, Tim, you're not doing anything. It looks like I'm not doing anything, but in reality I am. Trust me, everybody. Let's see. See how I worry about one side at a time so I don't have to, stress at, it's not matching up there, but it's matching down here. So if you just do one side at a time, you just got to worry about one side. And I like taking the complex and breaking it down to the minute, and the simple. And so that's basically my technique in oils, my technique in airbrush, my technique in pastel, my technique in auto body repair. No, I don't repair cars. But it would be my auto body, not my auto body, but, my technique if I was working on cars, I would break it down to the simple. So that's cool. So we have some people who work on cars here. We have carpenters here. We have all kinds of, we have fellow painters here. So I love the diversity of who's here, which is amazing. So, and you know what? We all have special gifts. And I know that sounds like real new age and everything, but it's true, Some people can paint, some people can fix cars, some people can write stories, some people are amazing moms, amazing dads, and that's important. That's like most important, actually. So we're going to work on this hand. Now, this is going to be cool. Well, I don't know how cool it's going to be, but let's do this. I'm going to put this shield right there so we can protect the hand. And I'm going to work down here. And here's something cool. You just put a magnet there and your freehand shield becomes a shield. And let's put this right here. Remember, mass your magnets on the borders. And I'm going to come back and erase and you know, come in with lighter colors and stuff like that, lighter details. So, you know, it's all good. We'll make this into a painting before we know it. Oh, and let's see what we say. Mr. Dave says, love how the Harley is turning out, Steve. Very cool, yes. That's an amazing painting, to say the least, right, guys? Let's see. Oh, no, Rick is from Victoria, British Columbia. I was close. Not really, because it's on the other side of Canada, but close as far as continents go. And Mint says he's got to charge his phone, is on 6%. Take care there, Mike. Always a pleasure. And thank you so much for that super chat, sir. It means a lot to me. And I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye, sir. So that is great. Always great to hear from Mint. Always, always. Dave, the Bug Gregory asked me how I'm doing. I appreciate that, sir. You know, I'm a real one day at a time kind of guy, you know? And, you know, I can't really solve the big picture, and I stopped trying, right, Dave? So I kind of break down the day, you know? It's like, what can I do today? And don't think about the big picture, and that's where my faith comes in. And, you know, I just honor God and leave the results to Him. Just like these live streams, right? You know, I just say, God, thank you so much for giving me the ability to do these live streams. And, you know, it doesn't matter what it looks like. I'm just going to continue the fight and leave the results up to God, you know? And that's what we have to do. But thank you for asking. That's probably like too much information, right, Dave? But I'm doing okay, working hard. You know, I got some coals in the fire, so to speak. So that's cool. So you see how the hair is shaping up, right? She's looking pretty nice. She's looking pretty cute here. And I'm just going to come up here. So what I was really up to is just creating some real body to the hair. So I'm going perpendicular, not parallel. There we go. So we have that. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for the concern, my friend. I really, really, really appreciate that. You know, you are all my friends, and, you know, I don't say that lightly, you know, and I mean it, friends, like, with a capital F, and, so, when I hang out, it's not like, oh, this is the live stream and I have viewers. No, you guys and girls are really important to me, and I just want you to know that, and, a lot of times, you guys are my social life right now. And you know what? I couldn't pick a better group of people. I couldn't. So it's not less than, and I'm very blessed to have you all. And it's nice to hear how you all are doing and all that fun stuff. So let's remove everything and see how it goes. Let's see. So we're going to remove this. So now that we darkened the hair, you all are going to see just how much lighter everything is on her face, right? And we're going to take that same mixture and we're going to start hitting some of the darks, right? And going down that center line. And this is very close to the dark accent, maybe one value darker, and we'll see how that goes. Mr. Dave Gregory, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that, sir. You are amazing, and thank you for your support, and thank you for helping the live stream just continue to grow, and just, you know, encouraging me, and I really appreciate that, my friend, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So that is great, and again, thank you for your friendship, and thank you for the support. And so you see, we have a little bit of ink build up there, so I'm just gonna take this shield off just to let it cool down, right? So there we go. Put the shield over there, and you can see how this all kind of lightened up. So now we're going to go back in, as we always see, you know, in the live streams, that when we darken an area up, everything else has to catch up. And that's what we do. Now, it's a little more risky going in with the media mixture, because this is playing for keeps, taking no prisoners kind of thing. All right, so let's assess the situation. Always assess and think of a strategy. You know, a lot like, you know, the fighter pilots or the bomber pilots in World War II would have the strategy in the meeting and look at the objectives, and then before they go out and know they have to reach those objectives. So if I'm looking at this particular portrait right now, my objectives are to darken the eyelashes, the mass of the eyelashes, not the individual eyelashes, only on the top eyelid, and darken the pupils and have them connect to the mass of the upper eyelashes. Go ahead and darken parts of the eyebrows, because the whole thing's not dark, you know? And so those are the things that I'm going to be doing. After that, I'm going to work on the nostril to kind of get a little more punch into that. And then we're going to maybe work on some areas here, but we'll see. And also, what are we going to do to resolve, you know, her trapezius and her clavicle, that sort of thing. And let's see. Steve Leahy says, thanks, Dave, about the Harley. It's a long haul painting. Glad people are digging it. Yeah, no, that's like amazing with the chrome and the paint job and everything. That's just out of this world. And the one you're doing with the very old car, it looks like a Model T, but it's in that kind of genre, you know, with those spoke wheels. Mr. Brad Mummery with the super chat. Thank you, sir, for the support and the friendship. I really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I say, this is so crucial to the channel, and I just want to say thank you for your support. And I really, really appreciate that, sir. All the way from Manitoba, Canada. You know, go Canada. You know, we got some great Canadian friends here today, and love Canada. You guys are making me want to move, not move to Canada, but visit Canada. If I visit and I love it, I just may move to Canada. And Mr. Gregory says, been swapped lately, but I always try to see the progress on the Harley. Great. That's good. Yes. You never, how do you say, you're never disappointed going on Steve Leahy's live stream. That's for sure. And all right, so we have our objective, right? So let's dig into this objective, and I always start with the eye on camera right, but let's try the eye on camera left. It's kind of dark, so let's zoom in here so you guys can see the good, the bad, and not so bad. Okay. So great. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Mint. Thank you for the support, everybody. I really appreciate that. Okay, so now we have this medium mixture. And medium mixture, you're playing a little more for keeps. And so we have to we have to respect when we go darker, right? We really do. Because now I'm also going to test to make sure. Let's see. I want to make sure that nothing is coming out when I'm just pulling back the trigger. Because that would really ruin my day. So let's go back here. And just lightly kind of bring this. Now when I want things to get a little more smoky and soft, I'm just going to increase my distance. We've got some hairs going right down. There we go. And let's see if I can focus that a bit better for you all. There we go. Okay. Now we do have, right here it's a little darker. Respect the darker mixture because it demands it. Be very gentle with it. So you can actually start shaping with the ink. Shaping the anatomy. You can see the angle that goes down. Good chance to work on the edges. And let's see what we have. And Dave says, never disappointed on yours either, Tim. That's why we're here. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. That means the world to me. Thank you, sir. And Dave says, nice detail on the hair. Thank you, sir. And, you know, like I said, the hair is just this cumulative thing that is kind of like you're going to be working on that from the very beginning to pretty much the very end of the painting. It's like icing on a cake. You know, it's not the most important part, but they always say a woman's hair is her crown, right? A crown of glory, and I believe that. Okay, so now we're going to work on the hair, the eye on camera right. Okay, so again, you know, let me make this a little bit bigger and then I could zoom in and focus, I should say. Wow, so if you get it focused there, when you go a little smaller, then it's going to be even better focus. All right. So remember, Pure Ref, so definitely download that. If you have any questions, you email me and I'll help you with it, but it's such a great tool. And here I am just deepening those darks, right? I'm not staying in the same area. You definitely don't want any kind of overspray or spidering at this stage. I mean, if it happens, it's not the end, right? But best defense is not to be there. The white of the eyes kind of goes into shadow right there. And then remember the mass of the eyelashes. You're not worrying about, maybe a couple here and there you may be doing it if they're larger shapes, but you're really not worried. You're hitting and moving, right? Hitting and moving, bobbing and weaving. As Muhammad Ali would do the rope-a-dope, or something like that. I know when me and my older brother would play fight, he would do the rope-a-dope and just beat me up. He was 5 years older than me, so it really wasn't a fun game. He let me hit him for a while because he was doing the rope-a-dope, and then let the carnage begin. But that's part of the fun of having an older brother, right? You know? Toughen you up. Love my brother Kevin. So, thank you so much for the super chats last month. The super chats last month paid for my gas and electric bill, and that is just amazing. And you know, that allows me to take some of that money that would have went there and to go ahead and, you know, get better lighting if I need or something like that for the channel. So that's really great. So thank you everybody for your support last month. That was amazing. I just want to let you know that it really does help a lot. So thank you guys. And especially thank you everyone for being here, hanging out. If you're watching this in recording, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It just, you know, be part of the community, right? I'll know exactly where you are, and you know, we'll get to know you, and just know that, you know, you're not just someone in the audience. You know, no one pays attention to you. So this is a real special time. So my live stream, my YouTube channel is not small, but it's definitely not big. So it's a good enough size that there's a nice community, but it's still small that you can come to the live stream and talk to everyone. And notice when you're looking at the comments, it's not flying through. When channels get too big, you can't comment, you can't even see it. But now we can, so I can get to know you, you get to know me, I can inspire you, you can inspire me and inspire each other. So it's a special time in this particular YouTube channel. So, you know, and there's really special people here. So if if you're in the background and you're wondering whether to comment, please comment. I want to hear from you, and I know the great people here want to hear from you. There are no bad questions. And even if you think someone asked that question before, I'm here for you, you know. And so that's the thing, you know. Just know that this is a safe place. It's a safe place where you can just say, hey Tim, why are you pulling back on the trigger? It might seem like a silly question, but it isn't, you know. If it's a question that eases your frustration, whatever, I am so happy to hear. And everyone here is just super patient, right? They'll just be like, no problem. They'll probably be answering and probably giving you really good advice and everything. Speaking of that, I don't do this too often, but I want to talk about some of the companies that are friends of the channel. And so my first major friend of the channel is Badger. As you know, I'm a Badger guy. I love Badger airbrushes, and I have my own custom Extreme Patriot arrow. Ken is a really good friend of mine over at Badger. Everyone over there at Badger, they're just amazing. Valerie and Dino over there. Just a shout out to you all over at Badger. Thanks for being a friend to the channel, friend to me, friend to, you know, my students and friends. So that's really great. I want to thank Speedball Ink. That's how I make my ink mixtures, with the Speedball Ink as the main. There he is, Mr. Colin. How are you? Great to see you, sir. Another Canadian. Amazing. And Colin, are you from Alberta? I think you're either from, I think you're from Alberta, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I got that right, Colin. Now, Colin just started a YouTube channel. So if you guys could go on Colin, now if you just see his name, Colin Beachy, like that, check out his channel. He's doing a YouTube channel on different airbrushes, which is really cool. Colin actually did a YouTube channel on the Paches. Am I right, Colin? Which are just crazy out of this world. Great YouTube video, lots of information, decades of knowledge. So what I'm going to do for you all is I'm going to get that YouTube channel, and I'm going to put a link, and if you guys could just show some love to Mr. Colin, because he just started that channel, and subscribe, that would be amazing. So let's see, I'm going to go with Colin Beachy. Let's see if I get you right away. Great, so I do have it, and yep, so I'm going to give you the link. You guys just hit that link, and if you get a chance, just go ahead and subscribe to his channel. So we really support each other here. That's really very important, you know. Right, Ontario, Canada, Alberta. I'm in Ontario, Alberta. Wow, so cool. Sometimes I remember, but remember, who was it that it took a long time? It was Dwayne. I took a long time to remember, and also Dave, but I got them down now. St. Louis Obispo and Oklahoma for Mr. Dave. So it takes a while sometimes, but I know you, Colin, for a couple of years now, a good 2-3 years. Now, what's really cool about Colin, he used to, and he still does, he does airbrush with watercolor. So if you guys have any questions about airbrush and watercolor, he's your man, you know? Oh, great. Steve just, look at that. The great Steve Leahy just subscribed to you, Colin. That's pretty cool. So, love that. Thank you, Mr. Steve. So, that is great. So, oh, look at that. Dave subscribed. Very cool. 4 hours north of Niagara Falls. Wow. Yeah, you got to come visit one day, my friend. That would be great. Be great to see you. Look at that. You're getting all these subs there, sir. So I'm glad that's happening. Share the love, my friends. That's what we have to do for one another, you know? We really do. Support each other and, you know, just be a safe place. And that's what I want. Nothing but too many scary places out there, right? So why not have a safe place? And so thanks, Brad, fellow Canadian, Dave from Oklahoma, Steve, originally from Massachusetts, and he's out of Ohio right now. So great, great bunch of guys. So it was a great video. I had it in the background, and I was listening to you, Colin, while I was painting, and I really enjoyed it. On the Pache, the VL, which is a great story, by the way. Really great story. Oh, so back to the painting. Let's see. Come over here. Okay, so I was looking at this. So here's the deal. This is one of my my little things, those little nuggets of information that I give here, which I love sharing with my friends. And it's just fantastic that I do that because, you know, it feels good to give. So I'm looking for my piece of sandpaper that has, I have a piece of sandpaper that doesn't have the white pastel, but it has graphite on it, and I'll find it. It's underneath something. When you can't find anything, it's always underneath something or behind something. But since it's sandpaper, most likely it's going to be. I found it, my friends. This has a little white pastel on it, but I'll actually go off to the left here. So I'm going to look for my 6B. Let me show you. It's a woodless graphite. Get the woodless graphite. They're really great. Generals makes a really good one. So does Prismacolor. So what I'm doing is, see, I'm putting a healthy amount of graphite on this. So you'll see the method to my madness, everybody. It looks like, you know, like, Tim, what are you doing, right? Why commit yourself with the airbrush? You don't have to, right? So sometimes we commit and we wish we didn't. And so I can see that this eye actually extends closer to the lower eyelid. But before I jump to conclusions, I want to make sure that the lower eyelid isn't too low, right? So that means I would raise the lower eyelid, but I definitely can see that it's the iris that needs to get a little bit bigger. So I'm going to test it out with this graphite here. And with the graphite, if I don't like it, I just take the kneaded eraser and I can undo that, no harm done. So at this late stage, why go ahead and tempt fate, right? Why not just ease into it, you know? Like a car, you know, you test drive it, right? You see if it fits you, if it suits you. You don't just buy a car and say, I hate this thing. There we go. So you see, by doing this and seeing that the iris actually comes down a little further, I think I'm getting a little more of her attitude, because that's what I want. She's like, and the name of this painting is Whatever. So that's what she's like, whatever, you know? And so it's important to me that I get that expression. And let's see, so Colin says, thank you so much, appreciate this so much, Tim. My pleasure, my friend, it's good stuff, and people are gonna love it, and I'm so glad you're doing stuff like that. Colin says, yes, they are easy brushes to find on eBay, but unfortunately that most Pache V side feeds and VJR models are always not in the best condition. It's always turns into refurbishment. Wow. And so very cool. So check out that video. Great information that Mr. Colin puts in there. I don't know too much about the VLs, but it was definitely a real education. So I really appreciate that. So now that I pretty much am happy with the way that is, but let's check the white of her eye. There we go. All right, so, but it's a little bit more wide right here. All right, let's see. Okay, let's do this. Now, what's going to have to happen is that it's going to look darker because I'm going over the graphite, but you know that, and you're just keeping that in the back of your head. When this dries, you're going to come in with the kneaded eraser and you're going to get rid of, but not until it's dry, you're going to get rid of the graphite. What's great about India ink is that the graphite will actually raise above the India ink when it's dry. So when you erase it, you're not touching the India ink. It's kind of like a phenomenon. I don't know why that happens, but I'm definitely reaping all the benefits. Like that scene with John Lovett when the character by in The Wedding Singer, the main actor, he's kind of losing his mind, and John Lovett says, He's losing his mind, but I'm reaping all the benefits. And he kind of disappears behind the curtain with this really crazy smile. It's very funny. If you get a chance, definitely. Adam Sandler, that's the actor. So that's cool. And Colin says, Timothy, does your eraser pencil have a brush at the end? Some do, some don't. So here's one. That one has one, and like the others don't. Like, it's really no reason why one doesn't or does. Most of the Perfections do, but the Perfection Pink Pearl one, and the one that's a bit harder, which is the 758, that one's a bit harder, has no brush. And then I think I have another one here. Oh, here we go. See how small they are? I use them till the end. And so this one doesn't have a brush, and these are the very hard ones. They're great. And I love them so much I use them to the end. So this you have to find on eBay if you can. It's the 605B by Venus. And those are amazing. Those are the old typewriter erasers, but they don't make typewriters anymore. So those erasers are no longer in production. There we go. And we're just going to continue darkening here. Remember, we had our briefing, right, in the beginning? The real detail in that lighter nostril, I'm going to definitely take care of that, not with this dark mixture, with this medium mixture. That just would be foolhardy. And I think we're going to go in and do some paintbrush work with the detail mixture in just a little bit. We're kind of getting to that stage, right? And then maybe we'll work on the hair. I'm just going to take a sip of my ginger ale. That is so good. Okay, now, thinking, let's zoom out. So now you can see we darkened our hair. Oh, and we're just going to let that dry a little bit, but you can see I got a little bit more of that attitude that I want. And this eye is significantly lighter in my painting. Now it could be the fact that my light is closer and there's fall off. But I can't blame fall off here. It's a little too light, so there we go. Just darken her beautiful eye here. Now there's more contrast on this eye, but this eye here is definitely darker. There we go. See how we're kind of creating balance, right? We want balance. Balance is very important. And Colin says lots of materials that were great in the old days are no longer made, like the CS10 illustration board. I remember that, yeah. And also haven't seen since the 90s. Yes, I used that illustration board when I was in Harvey Dinnerstein's studio. He would take that illustration board, and it used to come into 24 by 36. No, it would come 36 by 40, and we would cut it down to 36 by 20. And when we cut it down, we would tape it on a canvas stretcher, and then we would put a gesso marble dust mixture on there, and we would do pastel paintings and oil paintings on it. Very cool product. And Brad says, Tim, if I'm getting a shine with buildup of ink, does this mean I've oversaturated the paper? It's completely dry. Great question. So Brad is saying that he's getting a shine with the ink. And it's very rare that something like that happens. What I would do is when it's completely dry, you might have some graphite from the actual drawing that you were doing. Because remember what happens with ink. You can have, you know, your drawing and you know, you did that with pencil, and that could actually be showing underneath. And so what you would do is you would wait for it to thoroughly dry. We're still early for that over there. But you would go ahead and just be unaggressive with an aggressive eraser. So it's on the helmet of the hair. So definitely, so with the hair, that could have been a buildup as well. So now, is it like in a large area or just a small area of the hair, Brad? So that's, but yeah, it's very rare something like that would happen because the ink is matte and the paper is matte. The only thing I can think of is that you might have had the white mixture there that could have caused it, the acrylic. So fairly large area. So I would definitely, now is this an area where you can lighten it, like in the lights of the hair? Because that would definitely be a resolution. You would just erase that out. You can do that because it's the lights. But right now we're going to take this aggressive eraser, but we're going to be unaggressive. And I'm going to very lightly, because I think we're ready, I'm going to very lightly, actually that's even too aggressive, so I'm going to use this, and I'm just going to tap. And by tapping, I'm pulling up that, and you're going to see the shine goes away. See that? So see how the shine went away? Because the graphite is shiny and the ink is matte. So as I went ahead and tapped away, so if you tap away, you're going to pull up the graphite, but you're not going to affect the ink. So here's what I would do, is I would take a kneaded eraser and just tap part of those areas and see if that affects the shine. If not, just contact me and we'll explore it together. But that's a rarity. I don't ever had that happen to me, but you know, it could happen. But we could maybe try and isolate why that happened so we could avoid that in the future. And that's what I do. You know, that's like a debriefing, right? So a briefing in the beginning is, okay, what do we want to do? How are we going to achieve that? And then a debriefing, say, how did that go? Did that go well? Did, you know, because this went well because remember we used the graphite and we were able to get the shape without making that crazy commitment, right? So that was a good thing. There we go. And all right, so that is fantastic. And it's noticeable with the light shining directly on it. Well, that's another thing. You're going to have that, right? So let's zoom out. And every painting's going to have that. That's kind of part of it. And that's why when you see, you'll see that there's going to be an unevenness because some areas might have more ink than others and a more of a buildup. So that's okay. If it's like really like shiny, like when you're looking straight down at it where you have even lighting and you still see that shine, then that would be a problem. Okay, so yes, so here's the thing. So Brad was saying that he was getting a buildup and a kneaded eraser, a shininess. And what happens is, I believe the kneaded eraser will pull up any graphite that's underneath the surface. Remember, graphite is super shiny. Look how shiny that is, right? This is the graphite, this is a covering. So pencil is super shiny. Just as shiny as this metal, right? It's just as shiny. The highlight is the same, you know? And let's see here. And I am going to uh, go with that thinking right now. We're going to use this eraser and we're going to pull out some of those lights in the hair again. So let's do that. And let's see here. So again, we don't want to go too crazy. We just want to be very light pressure because, you know, there's not much contrast in her hair. So we want to build up the textures of the hair. So that's great. That was a great question on air. But even like working in oils, you're going to have some areas that are more shiny, and that's why either clear coating it. I use a product called Gamvar, which is a product from Gamblin, and it's a varnish, and it's really amazing. And you know, 2 coats and it's fantastic. And the product that I use, Gamvar, not when I have any pastel on it. Any pastel, you won't use it. You'll just put it under glass. But if I do a painting that has no pastel on it, then I would use this product called Gamvar. But I would never use it on my ink. That would be on my, you know, acrylic paintings, you know, my color paintings, my airbrush paintings, my oil paintings. Look up the product Gamvar, and I use the satin, not the satin finish. I use the gloss finish. I really like that. So you see how I'm building up those lights to get the, you know, the very quietly get those lights, those shimmering silvery lights. Now, more so than the shape of the hair, the direction of the hair is important, right? So if you get the hair direction, that's really going to go a long way. If you don't get the direction of the hair, well, that's not going to be good. So let's make sure that we are on the right page. So we're going to go ahead and do some erasing, and then we're going to come in with the paintbrush and the detail mixture, and we're going to do some really great work on the hair. Like I said, this today was really mainly hair so far, and it's important. So it's a really important supporting actor in the movie of your artwork here, especially the portrait, you know? So important. Ever so lightly, we just continue to build up her hair. So what I like to do is I like to, you know, put this in a pencil sharpener, and then I'll cut it at a 45-degree angle. So I have this wedge, and it's like having a super sharp edge on your eraser there. So just continue with going with the contour of that hair shape. It might be lighter here, and so you're really working on value right now, and you're just going with the shape of the hair, of that individual hair. Not the individual hair, but the individual shape in that hair. And individual hairs come naturally and later. There we go. And it's going to itch my eye. Oh, Michael says, good night, everyone. Mike, thank you so much. I'm glad you're able to fix that and get the comment. I hope to see you next week, every Wednesday at 9:30. And thank you so much for hanging out. Always a pleasure. So, looking forward next week. And again, we want to get the shape, and maybe it's a little bit lighter here, so I'm going to put a little more pressure. See how we could just very slowly get some really nice hair, but it takes time. It doesn't happen over, You can't just say, I'm just going to paint hair and get it done. No, hair doesn't work that way. I don't care if you're working in oil. Sometimes if you're doing a very generalized hair shape with just a dark and some lights. But when you're going in and, you know, really doing a detailed portrait, it's not going to happen. You're just going to have to slowly get the direction. Some of these large shapes here. Then we're going to come back in also with that medium mixture, reinforce some of these darks. But the main thing is to get the tonal shapes, but also the direction. And make sure you don't have too much pressure. Be very, very light pressure. Notice I'm not looking at any individual flyaway hairs or anything. That comes much later. So I'm going to use the facilities. I'll be right back, guys. And hold that thought. Be right back. Okay, so we are at 11:05. So thank you so much. 11:04. Uh, yes, illustration white for the lighter areas in the very beginning. That's very important. Uh, oh, so Colin asked a question earlier. Are you still using white ink or illustration paint for the lighter areas? Yes. Great, great question. As Brad said. I use the Drew Blair's 50/50 illustration white by Createx, and I take that paint and I cut it down 50% with water, and it's a nice transparent white. Kind of works like zinc white if you're oil painters out there, which is a very transparent white. Most whites that are out there is usually a titanium white. And titanium white is much stronger, it's much more opaque, and it just kind of asserts itself a little too much. So in the beginning I go with the mixture of the illustration white, and I guarantee almost that that particular white is a zinc white. Zinc white has a different property to it. You have titanium white, you have zinc white, you have lead white, you have uh, flake white. So there are a lot of different whites out there, and so it's really important to know what they do. And I was an oil painter many years. That's what I studied. I studied oil painting for 6 years with some of the greatest airbrush painters, not airbrush, but the greatest painters uh, of the day in New York City. And I was very blessed to have that ability. And so, yeah, you learn more about the science of color. Uh, being an oil painter, because you're working with the pigments a lot more. It's a lot more hands-on and a lot of subtlety that I learned, and I'm trying to bring that into my airbrush world as well. So, great answer to that question, Mr. Brad. So Brad has been with me. He's my longest tenured student. He's been with me going on 3.5 years, and he's just doing an amazing job. So I offer a mentorship program, and it's basically, having one-on-one classes with an instructor, one that could be an instructor at the National Academy School of Fine Art, where I was a scholarship student years ago. So definitely think about that if you are either here in the live stream or if you're listening to it on a recording. So we meet one-on-one with Google Classroom, and we paint together with a project, and we work until that's completed. So you see me work on it, I critique your work, and you photograph it, send it to me, and then from there I will bring it into the computer and actually work on the JPEG that you send me. And it's really great. I have it down to a science, and it's really great to see my students grow. It is the closest thing to actually being in my studio. And it's even better than the education I had, because I was one of 22 students. I didn't have Harvey's attention for 2 whole hours every week. Or Mr. Greenberg, Erwin Greenberg, Ron Scher, Max Ginsberg. Those are some of the Irving Doctor. Those are some of the great artists that were my teachers. And Brad says Tim's mentorship has taken his artistic levels to heights and would never have imagined. He would never have imagined. Wow, thank you, sir. Yeah, Brad's work has really, really blossomed, and he finished his first pastel painting, and he's been doing many, many paintings in Airbrush and India ink, and now he is actually beginning in the classes working in oils. It's all connected. It's all connected. So your pastels, your airbrush, they'll all help you to do the other thing better. So that's important. And so when you go to art school, you just don't learn one medium. You learn all the mediums because they are connected, and one will kind of reveal the mysteries of another. So to stick with one medium is great, but if you're doing other mediums, it's actually going to be better. And okay, just starting to do a little bit of texture, so I'm doing little circles, tiny circles here with this to get some texture. Just some tiny circles. And again, texture is something that happens later, not later, during the whole painting, right? But also later in the painting is where you really start to work on texture. And doing these little circles with the eraser, you're starting to establish some texture. Same thing, little circles here on the bridge of her nose. And we're starting to get the beginnings of texture. Here it's a little dark, so I'm just going to kind of erase where it's darker, and where the value I wanted to leave, I'll leave alone. So it's what I erase is just lightening up so it matches what's around it. So when you erase just enough. So here in New Jersey, you know, I'm 5 miles from New York City. I can see the Empire State Building out that window over there, and pretty big, mind you. What's really interesting, it's been warm, but it's been very windy, so you have to wear a winter coat if you go for a walk. So I walk sometimes 3 to 5 miles every day, and yeah, you really got to be prepared. So during this kind of half and half weather, if you're going to be walking or out for a while, always dress a little bit warmer, because then you could always take that jacket off, right? But if you're not prepared, then you're going to really get cold and be uncomfortable. So learn from my mistakes. And I'm just working on the angle of the zygomatic arch, or zygomatic bone. So really, in reality, the zygomatic bone pretty much starts halfway on the outside of the socket, comes all the way down, goes behind, on top of the ear to behind the ear, comes down to here, and then kind of moves up, and it kind of ends probably just at the 1/4 mark of the iris from the corner of the inside corner of the eye. So it comes down here like this, comes over here, and just, it's a very interesting bone, but it really is crucial in the shape of the face, because it connects to so many different bones. It connects to the frontal bone here, which is the large bone on the forehead. And so it connects here and creates this orbital ridge here, which is right pretty much by the eyebrow. And then it connects to the temporal bone right on the side, where the temple is, of course, and that gives you this lighter value right here. And then it also connects to the maxilla, which is how it comes down right here. So it's a very important bone. So I want you to study the zygomatic bone from all different directions. It's very, very important to learn what's happening with the anatomy of the face. And it's very superficial, meaning that it shows up in the painting. You know, when you're working, you'll be like, yes, that is a zygomatic bone. You'll recognize it. Okay. Just darkening right there. And that was risky, right? That was a little risky. And it's not super sharp, so I'm going to come in without a shield and get this edge. And you can see by darkening on this edge, it kind of makes her neck a lot more petite, and that's important. Those are her gestures. Great. And let's see, on this side, I'm going to look, and it is a little bit harder edge than over here. So I will get my freehand shield as soon as I locate it. Let's see, where is my freehand? Oh, it's over here. Okay. So this side is a little bit more of a hard edge. Remember, you want to tilt it up just a little bit, so it doesn't, the air doesn't try and escape underneath. And you're going to do perpendicular and not parallel. You see that? Wipe it after each spray, and avoid that finger. There we go. See how that nice hard edge, and things are starting to actually start to get defined more and more. It'll just happen. Perpendicular and not parallel. This is called crawling along the surface. So basically you're not doing the finger, the dark next to that finger in one shot. You're just doing it in sections, and that is crawling along the surface. I learned that from Dave Morton, great airbrush artist out there. He had these videos which were really great. How to do the skull, the female nude. It was just great. It was one of the first videos that I would purchase were from him. And they were instrumental in my growth as an airbrush artist. Now remember, the airbrush is just a tool. It's just something that you're going to learn how to do. And just like anything, if you were working, in retail, that cash register would be really foreign to you at first. But eventually, that cash register will be like second nature to you. The same thing is with the airbrush. If you work on it regularly and get proper information, you like watching Steve's live stream, Bill Snagan's live stream, my live stream, and get information like that before you know it, and you're working whenever you can, the airbrush is just going to become an extension of you. It really is. And that's exactly happened to me. Now, I started airbrushing like seriously around 2011. I think I got my first airbrush in 2010. In 2012, I started taking classes. I took two workshops with Jonathan Pantaleone, and that was just out of this world. That man is one of the best control, and that's why I studied with him, because I felt his control was just ridiculously great. And so that's what I wanted. So when I went to his classes, a lot of times I said to him, I just want to watch you work. I want to watch how you hold that airbrush. I want to watch, what you do. And from that point on, it was like I knew the direction I had to go to master this crazy apparatus. And I already mastered a lot of portraiture. I've already been painting in pastel and oil and pen and ink, so airbrush was a new technique, but it was a new tool, and that's how I treated it. And that's how you should treat it. It's a tool. You can learn it. And that's what I want you to do, is to get that control, And as you can see, the hair is really coming together. So this chin area is a little concerning, and I'll show you. Not sure what happened, but it's something that we can easily fix. So let's come over here. I'm going to come in with the detail mixture and darken up her lips. And just a little bit on the light side. But you see this right here, this little bit of dark right here? What I'm going to do is I'm just very gentle with the aggressive eraser. Is I'm going to erase what's out of balance here. Let's see. I'm going to go right on that line. Just erase. See how I got rid of what was out of balance? And that's what you want to do. You want to look for balance, like Miyagi. Balance, Daniel-san. Balance, Tim-san. And that's what we're looking at. And so while we're here, this is much darker over here. So I'm just going to dust this. Bring that value down. So you see how we're starting to get a lot of the attitude and everything, but we're going to have to come in with that detail mixture again to work on some of these very fine details. I wouldn't do that with the medium mixture. Don't try to do with a dark color what you should be doing with a light color, right? So always keep that in the forefront. Don't use the wrong tool. That's so. If I started doing detail in the nose with the medium mixture, could I pull it off? Maybe. Do I? Am I taking a chance? Yes. Can I do a better job with the detail mixture? Yes. So, easy answer. Detail mixture. Wait on that. So right now I'm going to take my eraser and we're going to work on this area a little bit. Remember we had a little overzealous before, so now we're coming in part 2 with the hair. But notice that the erasing actually is a little more effective now that it's darker. So we're just gonna ever so lightly. See that? Just ever so lightly. Soft hair. Her hair is soft. So in the beginning it's going to be super soft edge, right? And just be gentle. One second rule. Look for a second and then paint for a second. Bring this up. And then here we're just going to do the hair that's visible, which is this coming down. It's a little fatter. Hair usually travels in packs like wolves, right? Very rarely do you see a single errant hair. It usually travels in packs and kind of meanders from having a lot to little hair, and so you have this shape going on. Again, you'll have this kind of deeper, lighter group of hairs right here, gets fatter and just dissipates, and then you have some lighter, little more thinner groups of hair. Like I said, the hair is very, very cumulative. So I'm going to be working on this throughout the painting, and that's what you want to do. So you'll see how much softer her hair was from the beginning of today's session. The direction of the hair is so important, probably the most important. And oh, great question. Colin says, is the detail mixture darker than the dark mixture that you make? Oh, the detail mixture is the lightest. So the detail mixture is much lighter than the light mixture. And that detail mixture is so wonderful and so transparent that you'll just love it. I have to send you some detail mixture. Because, Colin, when you purchased the inks, that was before I kind of invented the detail mixture. So you're going to love that detail mixture, because you can use that probably for the first 40% of the painting almost exclusively, because it's so transparent and it just flows so wonderful, even more so than the other mixtures. And so here goes this light group of hairs here, and you're going to see it's a little bit lighter and hard edge here, and then sort of kind of forks out over there. And direction and placement is so important. See, we have the direction and placement of her hair. And of course, you know, it might be a little stronger than it will be at the end, because you have to put that in. And now after this, I can decide what goes forward, what comes back, that sort of thing. Take a little sip of ginger ale. Okay. Right here we have this kind of beautiful, now that could be something on my monitor. Yep, that was something on my monitor. So I put hair where it wasn't there. And that was because it was something on my monitor. That's pretty funny. So don't do that. All right, so we see this here, and oh, so Colin says he's going to make a purchase of inks for me soon. Looking forward to the deep. Thank you, sir. That's going to be great. Yes, and take your time, and you know, be my pleasure. I always send extras, you know, so that would be great. And love the work that you do with the India ink already. And are you still doing those amazing watercolors? Those are fantastic. Oh, Mr. Todd, he's back. Good to see you. Just in time to say goodnight. It's a pleasure, Todd. Always good to see you. How's work going? Work's going pretty well. And are you doing any more of that t-shirts work that you were doing before? Really loved it. So now we can see her hair is starting to take shape. And we're going to come in with some, you know, maybe some Blackbeard wheat and some stencil, freehand shield to get some of these really richer darks in there. So that's going to look very good. So we're getting to the point almost where we will start doing individual hairs, but we're almost there. Also, we're going to have to darken the Celtic knots in the background, and then I thought we were going to do paintbrush work today, but that's going to be next week. Then comes the white pastel, and that really brings everything together. So that will be fun. And Colin says you still make the sepia line. Yes, definitely. And I even perfected them a little bit more. So they're very easy to work with. So they're all set up for you. So definitely think about that as well, Colin. That is great. So there's also a live stream of the girl praying, and that complete live stream is working with those detail mixtures. So getting the mixtures are great, and plus you have one of my videos which are on my live stream, just shows you how to use them step by step, which is a lot of fun. Great question. Thank you, sir. And let's see. So I have this dark here. Let's do a little bit just for fun, because you all love when I do the Blackbeard wheat. So Blackbeard wheat is great. You get it at Hobby Lobby in the floral section. And I learned this from David Morton as well. And notice how we can get some really effective organic hair shapes, which I don't care who you are, you're not going to be able to get these organic shapes without this. It really is great. But you set up, right? You make it lighter, and then you come in with the Blackbeard wheat with like a medium mixture, and you can get some really interesting hair patterns, which are fantastic. And you got to be careful because they don't really bend like wire, so you got to find some straight areas. You just kind of spray through it. And also at the edge where the light kind of falls into the dark is always good. And so we can actually now use our freehand shield and knock out some of the hard edges here in her hair. Make sure you wipe that freehand shield, otherwise you will be sorry. You'll just reposition ink, and that's no fun. So you want to make sure that your freehand shield is always nice and dry and doesn't have any residue ink. If it does, it's not going to be good. And Colin says he's leaning towards spraying purely ink and illustration paint only. Watercolor is just too wet and tends to soften the paper too much and is not easy to build up on. Great information. Thank you so much. And so that's great. And you have done some amazing airbrush and watercolor, Colin. Love it. Brad, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for hanging out tonight. And thanks for the great great questions. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. So guys, we hit 11:30. You can see that she's coming together, right? Every week she's coming more and more. We're going to go darker. We're going to come in with the paintbrush, and we're going to with the white pastel. We're very close. 2 more weeks and she should be done. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Dave, for the super chat. Thank you, Brad, for the super chat. Thank you so much, Mint, for the super chat. And really appreciate you guys. Thank you, Steve Leahy, and everybody for hanging out. You guys are all the best. Thank you, Colin. I hope you all have just the most amazing week. And always appreciate yous, and never think that you all hanging out with me on a Wednesday is not really important to me, because it's hugely, hugely important. Look forward to seeing everybody next week. Take care, everybody. You're all amazing.